Well, in other news, Jacksonville's there's a rapper in Jacksonville named KSoo. His father is testifying against him in a murder trial.
I read that. But you see the consequences, though?
Well, so here's because people try to paint this and try to overly simplify it a little bit. So I did a little bit of research into this. I might be a little bit wrong on this, but essentially, KSoo is being charged with a murder, right?
Yes.
And his father is being charged with accessory after the fact to first-degree murder.
Right.
And he's facing 3 felony charges, could each carry a sentence of 30 years in prison. So he's having to testify against his son who did the murder, who I guess is not saying that his dad had nothing to do with it. So now he's being put in a situation where his own life, he's potentially going to lose his own life in prison because of something his son did. And, people are like, I can't believe the father would testify and so forth. So the father actually went on Instagram and he made a statement. He said, if it was me and my daddy in a situation like this, I would have been freed my daddy a long time ago, no matter what my consequences would have been. No justification needed, especially if he's a good, great daddy. He could do more for me out of jail than in jail or prison. Who leave their daddy in jail to rot, especially when you know he innocent? I would have been stood up and said my daddy ain't got a fucking thing to do with nothing. You people out there that in the free world talk that talk out there until it's time to walk that walk, facing that life sentence.
I agree with him. I would do the same thing if my son had me in a bad situation like that. I wouldn't even think twice about it. And that's where most people listen to reply. They don't listen to comprehend. And I say this to everybody, they'll reply first, but you actually did the research, the due diligence to understand. That's what people really have to do. We all been there. We've all have responded to something without getting the information, right? So with that said, if my son put me in a situation like that and I really didn't have nothing to do with it and you trying to take me down, I gotta go protect my life, especially if the prosecutor says you get to walk if you testify against your son. Now, if I testify against my son and they still lock me up, different ballgame.
Yeah, I mean, accessory after the fact is a very dicey thing. I actually found out about it recently when I did an interview, I think with this dude Kirkland out of DC.
Uh-huh.
You could get hit with a murder after the fact or murder accessory after the fact. What it means is, and I looked this up, is if someone commits a crime and you help them only after the crime is committed, you could potentially be charged with accessory after the fact.
Yeah.
So someone goes to you and said, yo, I just committed a murder. And you're like, okay, cool. Let me just help you get away or whatever else. Now you're an accessory to murder.
Yep.
Ain't that a motherfucker?
That's a motherfucker.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ain't that a motherfucker? And, now he's being, did he help his son? Did he not? I mean, I guess the courts will find out, but now he's having to testify against his own son. And it's like.
And you got family members and everybody, again, like the regular people who are not listening to the facts. They listen to their emotions. But Vlad, you would do it. If your son took you down that path.
Man, I think every person has to be responsible for their actions. And whether it's a child or a relative or a friend, if they did what they did and they're putting it on you and you're getting dragged into the situation, you ultimately have to defend yourself.
I agree.
Now if you did it and you're trying to pin it on one of your kids, then that's foul.
That's foul.
That's how people are trying to paint it. Like, oh,
Right.
He did a murder and he's trying to put it on his son. No, his son allegedly did the murder. It
Right.
seemed like he's being hemmed up in his son's bullshit, and
Right.
his son's not trying to help him out. So, it is what it is.